Attention hunters and monsters of the New World. There is an invasive menace afoot. 1 second the skies are clear, the next, destruction. Today we observe an explosive adversary as we roll out the carpet for the rolling thunder. None other than the Flying Terror, Basil Goose.
Welcome to the Monster Matchup, the show where you get to know your foe from head to toe. Today we're looking at the monster with many names. Beetlejuice? Bagel Juice? Bagel Goose? Basil Goose. Oh, so cool. Now, he's sort of like that one friend, quote-unquote, from middle school who you didn't really want to hang out with, but they ended up tagging along anyway. Except this one has bombs, and he also attacks your other friends, which would be the other monsters. But seriously, this is another favorite of mine alongside Diablos, and some others we'll get to later. But now, we're talking about the goose. The goose is loose. Gimme that goose juice. What makes Basil loved and hated by the masses all at once? Let's break into this magnificent pine cone and find out the innards as to why. 3, 2, 1, begin. Basil Goose is one of the few invasive species in Monster Hunter World thus far. That means there isn't a designated region where he can pull a Breaking Benjamin and blow me away. Ancient Forest? Not safe. Boom! Wild Spire Wastes? Death. Coral Highlands? Fair game. Rotten Vale? He's gonna make you wanna bail. Elder's Recess? Now you got Uragan Balls and Basil Bombs. Nowhere is safe.
The beatings will come! You will be beat! There is no escape!
Oh, and here's the best part. This is all most likely gonna happen to you when fighting other monsters. You wrestling Black Diablos trying to make the next installment to your online video series while thinking about what to do next and think to yourself, you know what if the answer to my worries falls right out of the sky as I'm recording? Hey, I got you. You'll know he's arrived from a couple different cues. There's the awesome theme song that kicks off with wailing violins as if it's a siren warning you that pine cone cometh. And if that doesn't get your attention, what will is the ridiculous spamming of his notorious roar, which is contender for most deafening screech. Basil Oregano's fighting capabilities include, but are not limited to, Drag My Skull across the sector, Grape Smashing Raffle Stomp, Fire Breath that could technically be called Wyvern Ignition because it can ignite stuff, and the signature move you know and love, the B-52 Carpet Bomb Wombo Combo! See these little sizzling thingamabobs? What are these? Some fine deviled eggs to twiddle your fingers at? Fool! Those are explosive scales that come from Basil's considerably long neck and his pretty thick tail. Once they're on the ground like this, it will ignite once hit by something, whether it be Bagel, a hunter, or another monster. This is where the Carpet Bomb of Doom comes into play. He'll go back and forth a few times, doing a little Salt Bay sprinkle of these things before crashing down to destroy your hopes and dreams. Upon landing, everything is set aflame, and when you make Basil Goose really angry, he lights up and his scales ignite by themselves. They can just also fall off on their own in the midst of battle too when they're like this, so if you down him in this state, just be careful when attacking his glowy bits. By the way, contrary to the label of bombs, Basil Goose does not cause Blast Blight, but rather it burns you, so get ready to channel your inner roly-poly. So, by and large, Basil is a force to be reckoned with. So tell me, Gabe, how do we combat this marvelous monster? Well, to do that, young grasshopper, we must take a look at its weaknesses. First things first, what do we do for the Klondike bar that is keeping Basil out of the fight that doesn't regard him? The answer is quite crappy. Why, Gabe, are you suggesting that we...
Well, of course we're going to throw poo at him.
Dung pods are going to be pretty darn effective. Just point at Basil, fire away, and then they eat the poo-poo and fly to another sector. Hopefully it's not the same one your current quest monster is going to, so pack several in case they cross paths again, which they probably will. Now, I mentioned that B-52 will be in just about every region, Whether or not he invades Iceborne, we'll find out later. But each zone will have different monsters that can help you fight. Ranged weapon users will be even better off because they could keep their distance from explodey bits. Pierce ammo is also a nice touch for bowgun users, as it can punish Basil and his jiggling neck grenades. Bow users just do your thing. Just do your thing. Stopping this monster from using his bread and butter will definitely, tip the scales. Fire resistance, defense, and even earplugs will help against this monster. Maybe even stun resistance so you're not in one spot when there's a bunch of explosions around you. You can use flash pods to drop him before he drops you like a bad habit. And when he's down, keeping him still will be beneficial, so don't forget to give him the good old zippity-zappity with your shock trappities. And while he's down for the count, make sure to take advantage of his weak points. The head, wings, and tail are all weak points, with the head, tail, and legs being breakable and the tail being cuttable. Some things will be more effective than others in certain spots, like many monsters. Overall, ranged weapons will be best against all weak points, especially them wings. Element weaknesses. Wheeze. Soaking the eggs of death won't be all that effective, but the best means of elemental attack is to hit the rolling thunder with the damage of thunder, which means there's a perfect opportunity to grind the monster y'all know and love. Ailment weaknesses. Although it doesn't proc Blast Blight, Basil Goose is still resistant against blast damage, and stuns as well. Poison, sleep, and paralysis will all be relatively effective, but hey, you'll want all you can get when fighting this wee. So what do I think of it? Me gusta. I might not always want Basil Goose in the middle of a fight with me and another monster, nor do I want it belching me into submission with its consecutive roars, but he has enough of a distinguished personality that really makes him stick out. Some people will of course struggle more than others, but man, he's really cool. Final verdict? You know what would be a crazy idea? Fighting two of these guys tempered. Next time, we have finally made it, everyone. We are covering the legendary Elder Dragons. It's another favorite of mine and possibly the top one. It's really cool. Basil's really cool too, but this one's up there. I would like to give a special thanks to all of my lovely patrons, which include but are not limited to Unlucky Old Man of Herbs Versexy Zero, an Alaskan Bullworm, Thresh, also known as Jared, Luna, Bradley Soul, Random, Max Root, and Ree. Thank you everyone for your support and thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Gabe, why did this matchup take so long? Are you burning out again, old man? Well, if you saw my previous little video, but you probably didn't, there is now an official My Name is Gabe server and a Patreon. These debuted about a week ago, and it is considerably cash money. The Discord is open to everyone, and Patreon peeps get special rewards. Details can be found on the Patreon page, which I'll link along with the Discord in the video description and comment section below. Come join the fun, and if you can, maybe support your boy. I want to make this channel the best that it can be for y'all. And if the Patreon takes off, I'll be able to expand on the rewards for y'all too. Regardless, thanks for all your support. And now, without further ado, let the show begin! Welcome to the Monster Matchup, the show where you get to know your foe from head to toe. And today we're taking a look at this thing, but angrier. Alexa, play Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. Black Diablos, a true pain train. Now, I've mentioned before that certain monsters may or may not provide certain degrees of challenge, or at least salt for hunters. I've also said some fights are more enjoyable than others. And I also said that Diablos was one of my favorite monsters. Black Diablos is an amalgamation of fun and terror. Some people would disagree with the former, but that's what I think. Yes, it still eats the plant, but this female Diablos in heat will devastate just about anything in its path. So pack your screamer pods and ready yourself for a lot of dodging, because this Desert Queen will keep you on your toes and constantly in need of new pants. 3, 2, 1, begin. Black Diablos takes everything about the lovable snaggletooth Triceratops dragon and turns the dials up to the max. Black Diablos can sweep a whole section in 12 parsecs without busting a sweat or anything else that is bussable. More often than not, Black Diablos can be encountered at the same time as a regular Diablos, which is a pretty awesome spectacle until you're caught in both of their sights. So what makes this scarier than the normal Eater of the Plant? Well, Black Diablos is angrier, more aggressive with its attacks, and oh, it hurts so much. Black Yabba Dabba Diablos' fighting capabilities include but aren't limited to more Toro, Billy Club Tail Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, and Jimmy Neutron style Gotta Blast Out the Sand. Only the strongest will survive with Gothlos over here on their case. It shares similar moves and weaknesses to Diablos, but there are some notable differences. Usually Diablos will burrow, reach your location, and then burst their head upward. BD Mongolian Grill over here can burrow, reach where you are, pause for a brief moment, maybe do a crossword puzzle, and then launch out of the ground. You could tell from which direction the ground is being dug up where BD is going. And she covers lots of area, like lots. She also has this charge move where she changes direction while staying in place, like pivoting, before making a final adjustment and charging towards you with murderous intent. And don't try running directly away, because she will chase you to the ends of the earth. She can also pivot and change directions when charging. But it's all good in the hood because she does pack some weaknesses. Black Diablos has similar countermeasures to Diablos. Screamer pods can be used when Black Diablos is digging your way. Also, don't kite BD into your teammates to kill them. That really, Diablos. She will also engage in turf wars with the regular Diablos, which is, that's something to see. But how many hits does it take to get to the meaty center of goth waifu Black Diablos? Well, that depends on certain things, like weak points. The big dumb head, chesticles, and wings are weak points, with the tail, body, horns, everything being breakable. That fat tail? Oh yeah, you can just yeet that thing off, which is recommended because, boy, that'll leave a couple body-sized bruises. Element weaknesses. You're funny. Dragon damage don't work and thunder is kinda poopy, so the best bets are to either, soak it or give it ice. Ailment weaknesses. Stun is the least Gucci, but the others, especially paralysis, will give this big, black creature a run for its money. To sum it up, Black Diablos will bring the big hurt, and it's definitely up there in the challenging monsters of Monster Hunter World. Be confident, and you will prevail. Final verdict. Using a lance is recommended. Oh man, we covered a lot of monsters. We're getting towards the end now. I'm confident that we can conquer the adversaries that await us. Thank you everybody for watching. I would like to give a special thanks to all of the awesome pioneer patrons of the Panda Party, which include but are not limited to Sisandorto, Carrie, Lunch Bear,
Ifyingus, Takatanski, Ulisto,
Dimstitz, Kurn, Dukburstu,
Garobang,
Sayasine, and thank you all so very much for your love and support. I will see you in the next installment, or on the Discord server, because y'all should totally join that. I would also like to thank the Twitter user Cosmic Arts for making this fabulous piece of me. Just look at it. I'm gorgeous. Thank you all so much. I'll talk to you later.